about aerobatics. In the 1950s and early 60s, many RAF squadrons had their own teams. One of the most famous was the Black Arrows that flew Black Hawker Hunters. In 1958, the Black Arrows looped and barrel-rolled 22 aircraft in formation, a record which remains unbroken today. By 1962, the Tigers of 74 Squadron were displaying the legendary English Electric Lightning. But simple economics ensured their future as a display team was limited.
The Hunter was fine. The squadron displayed the Hunter, and the Hunter was essentially, it was an operational aeroplane, but it lent itself to displaying as well. Needed on the front line. So a conscious decision was made in the early 60s to move it towards training aircraft.
In 1964, the RAF launched a new display team, flown by instructors from the Central Flying School at RAF Valley on Anglesey. But the Red Pelicans and their humble jet Provost aircraft already had a rival. The RAF were rapidly acquiring a new jet trainer, the faster, sleeker and more maneuverable Folland Gnat.
It was a superb little aeroplane because it was a very testing aircraft. If a person could fly a Gnat well, they'd fly just about anything well. It was a little, it was a Ferrari of its day sort of thing.
Ray checks in. Ray, you don't forget to check in this time.
Amongst the instructors was former Black Arrows pilot Lee Jones. It was Jones who persuaded the RAF to paint their brand new Folland Gnats daffodil yellow and form an aerobatics team.
They agreed that we could have 5 aircraft. And we started doing 5-ship aerobatics. And as soon as we got airborne in these brightly coloured aeroplanes, the traffic used to stop all the way around Valley. And, people just get out their cars.
It was only when a member of the press mistook their radio call sign for their name that the team was finally christened.
This journalist got up to the tower, they're watching it, and they said, what are they called? And just then they heard Lee calling, Yellowjack running in. He said, Yellowjack, wrote Yellowjacks down, and that stuck.
There remained only one obstacle to the Yellowjacks becoming the RAF's official aerobatics team.
Yellowjack, if you look up in the dictionary, is a slang word for yellow fever in Australia. So that was that.
Besides which, the distinctive yellow colour, whilst ideal on a sunny day, made the aircraft difficult to see in cloudy weather.
So they said, well, why not paint them red? And which they did. And it was an instant success. And people immediately said, well, what are we going to call them now? And there was a sort of quick whip round the Air Force, and they said, well, Black Arrows was very, very successful, call them the Red Arrows. And that's how it really started.